All right, folks, welcome to the live stream. We are live and we are 1 minute ahead of schedule. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you. Good to see everybody. Good evening, Trey Tubbs. This tea is hot as all get out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, you can hear me. All right, great. He has arrived. The Eagle has landed. Oh, is that where everyone is? AOC is live on Twitch, but I'm also here with you. Okay. Hey, can't compete with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. She's playing video games, trying to get people out to vote. So that's a powerful thing. So shout out to everyone who's watching her. I know she's breaking records right now. So that's a good thing. I think somebody else mentioned that. Hi, a new lifer. Okay, Nicole got her notification tonight. That's what's up. Good evening, Andy. How's everyone doing? Joe, you've already voted in New York. Thank you for that. Melissa, I'm here to help out. Just trying to share what I have, what I've been able to piece together in this crazy world that we live in. Things are really wild. So let's do this. I haven't been asking a lot lately. What's up, Jonathan? Home team rocking it with us. Hey, Missy, Miss High, Miss I. Jonesboro, Arkansas is in the house. Hell Wildcats. My Wildcat brother, or sister. I'm not sure, but my fellow Wildcat, Bethune-Cookman College. Santa Clarita is in the house. Cool. Let's take a second and what's the tea today? The tea today is Earl Grey, but it's decaffeinated because I got to go to sleep because we get up and run every morning now. It's been doing pretty good. I'm at 2 miles. I could run 2 miles now nonstop, and y'all just don't understand. Like, that's an achievement for me. All right, so I know that's not a big thing for a lot of people who are real runners, but for me to be able to hit 2 miles nonstop, my time is not the best. But it's improving. So we're doing that every morning at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's why I have no caffeine in my cup. Vancouver is in the house. Great. That is awesome. And I got the other tea, right? I got the other tea. Got the information in the news. Oh, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good stuff. Michigan has voted. Thank you, Robert. Desiree, I see you over on YouTube. Let's get started. I'm going to start, per usual, with some clips, and we'll discuss the clips. And the way this works is we go, let me shut that down real quick because that's going to throw me off. The way we're going to do it is we're going to take the news, we're going to play the clips, and then we're going to talk about not only the day-to-day politics that's involved in what we see, but I try to get the underlying issue. And then I try to find some universal truths that we can apply to it, right? I don't want to just keep us at the minutia of our day-to-day news cycle because the day-to-day news cycle can be depressing, but we have to address it. And I try to give you strategies on how you can communicate around it, try to give you ways to weaponize the truth. That's what I want to do. I want to help you weaponize the truth in a world that weaponizes lies. Man, that's actually good. Weaponizing truth in a world that weaponizes lies. Y'all can put that on the t-shirt. Let's begin. Texas is in the house. I see you, Andrea. Kentucky's in the house. Andrea's in the house. K-Love, I see all of y'all. Thank y'all for supporting. Be sure to share. Whatever platform you're on, share it. And let's get this party rolling. Like, it is always appropriate because of the nature of who and what Donald Trump is and what he's doing to this country, that we discuss Donald Trump in depth. It is sad that we have to cover it, but because of what he says and how ridiculous what he says is. But here we go. Let's jump right in with some clips from Donald Trump.
The numbers keep going up, and we don't want to shut down again. What is the plan to live with it while staying safe from it?
Well, we are living with it, and we're having the vaccines coming out very soon. With or without the vaccines, we're rounding the turn, but we have the vaccines coming out very soon. We have the therapeutics that are incredible. I tell you what, I had Regeneron. I was not exactly feeling the greatest, and I had Regeneron. I felt like Superman a day later, and I got better very fast, very, very fast.
Okay, let's take a look at that again. And the reason is because I want you to hear something very critical here. Listen again.
We have the vaccine.
The numbers keep going up, and we don't want to shut down again. What is the plan to live with it while staying safe from it?
Well, we are living with it, and we're having the vaccines coming out very soon. With or without the vaccines, we're rounding the turn, but we have the vaccines coming out very soon. We have the therapeutics that are incredible. I tell you what, I had Regeneron. I was not exactly feeling the greatest, and I had Regeneron. I felt like Superman a day later, and I got better very fast, very, very fast.
Okay, so this has been the plan all along. It's twofold. Number one, I find it difficult to accept that a 74-year-old man who's terribly out of shape could recover so quickly from this. But I'm going to set that aside. That set aside, he is the president of the United States and has access to the very best in medicine that the world has to offer. So it's possible that they actually gave him something. But Donald Trump's ties to the company that manufactures Regeneron and him leveraging his sickness as a way of pushing everyone else out into public, despite the fact that everyone else in the general public will not get access to the same type of treatment that Donald Trump gets access to. We had one day over the weekend, we had over 60,000 new infections of COVID-19. 60,000, over 60,000. And we are quickly approaching 220,000 deaths. Now, there have been improvements in terms of the survivability of severe cases because scientists and doctors are learning more and more about it, better treatments, et cetera, et cetera. But in no form or fashion are we turning the curve, right? We're not turning the corner on this. We are not turning to a place where we could just go back to day-to-day life as if nothing is happening because people are still dying. 1 in 1,000 black people have died from COVID-19. Not have been infected, but have died from COVID-19, right? It's disproportionately harming black and brown people because disproportionately black and brown people are serving as essential workers. The grocery clerk, the food service industry, the different components of the government, right? It is killing us. And yet the president of the United States is doing exactly what we expected him to do, and that is to leverage his experience with COVID-19, whatever it was, whatever it wasn't, using it as a way of pushing the general masses back into some normalcy when in fact the general masses will not get access to the type of treatment and care that he received, period. So what's the sum total of everything? The sum total of everything is that Donald Trump is going to get even more people killed. That's not hyperbole. That's not an exaggeration. Donald Trump is going to get more people killed. And he's not just going to get people killed because of pushing people back out into this pandemic. He's going to get people killed because of how much he's politicized this. It is so hyper partisan at this point that we discussed it last night. I didn't get a chance to play the clip. I want to play the clip now of Dr. Anthony Fauci, who has had his life threatened. Let me make sure I have that clip. Well, before that, I want to play this clip of Donald Trump sabotaging Anthony Fauci. Listen in.
Because they think he's against me. He's not really against me. But he did say something that we kept him off television, and yet we allowed him to do 60 Minutes the other night. He couldn't do it without our approval. So how do we keep him off television? But by the way, do 60 Minutes. Look, he's a nice guy. He's got a really bad arm, not a good baseball thrower. But he's a nice guy. The only thing I say is he's a little bit sometimes not a team player. But he is a Democrat, and I think that he's just fine. It's a view. We have others. Scott Atlas is fantastic, but they go after him so much. He has a different view. By the way,
he's talking about Anthony Fauci, ladies and gentlemen. Listen to this clown one more time.
Because they think he's against me. He's not really against me. But he did say something that we kept him off television, and yet we allowed him to do 60 Minutes the other night. He couldn't do it without our approval. So how do we keep him off television? But by the way, do 60 Minutes. Look, he's a nice guy. He's got a really bad arm, not a good baseball thrower. But he's a nice guy. The only thing I say is He's a little bit sometimes not a team player, but he is a Democrat.
He is a Democrat. Like, at what stage of Dr. Anthony Fauci's contribution has he demonstrated any partisanship whatsoever? So it's not just Donald Trump's recklessness as president of the United States pushing people back out into the pandemic, but it's the politicization of the pandemic that's actually going to get more people killed. And it's gotten so bad that Dr. Anthony Fauci has had to get security. He can't walk in public. This is where we are. So the man who's out here literally trying to help save as many lives as possible, that's all his function is. That's his entire function. The situation has been politicized so much so that his life has now been threatened and he has to walk. He can't go out in public without federal agents providing security for him. The reason I get so tired of talking about American politics is because at the end of the day, there is no substance underneath it. You get to a certain level of stupidity. There is nothing meaningful that can be extrapolated from some of these scenarios. The fact that the leading virologist, scientist, doctor, the leading voice who has served this country for decades, who is doing nothing but trying to rise to the occasion to help us save as many lives as possible. The fact that his life has been threatened by the idiocy of America. I don't know if there's anything meaningful that can be pulled out of that except to say that this is the idiocracy that we live in. This is the scale and the scope of the stupidity that this country is drenched in. It is absurd, it is asinine, and it is embarrassing. It is wild. Iris Fox, hello. Again, a lot of people are still just now tuning in. As you tune in, be sure to share, like, and subscribe. Turn on your notifications so that you can get the notifications. Let's keep going. I don't really have, I'm sorry, it's just so absurd to me. It's painful. This country is so ignorant, it's painful. The level of stupidity is so unimaginable. I wonder what it's like to be in a reasonable, sensible country looking at what's supposed to be the leader of the free world in Donald Trump and looking at America, which is supposed to be this great American empire. We're living in Pax Americana. We're living in the era of America and looking at us like you people are morons. And it's not just ignorance for the sake of ignorance. It's ignorance that it leads to belligerence, that leads to violence. I don't think there's anything meaningful that could be pulled out of this except to understand just how deep the ignorance goes. That the ignorance, there's a direct line, there's a straight line from their ignorance to violence. And they feel like liberty is did I play that clip last night? Did I play the clip of the man in Fargo? I think I did. The level of ignorance goes to people in positions of power. I mean, I guess I could play it again because I just want you to see the line, the connection, the ignorance, how it just never ceases to amaze me. It never ceases to amaze me exactly how unimaginably stupid this country has fallen. Like this, the depths of the ignorance has gone to the point where they're proud. It's one thing to be uninformed in the truest definition of ignorance, to be uninformed and curious to find out. There are a lot of things that I have not figured out yet, or I don't know about yet, I haven't read about yet, and I'm just ignorant to it because I am not aware of it. But I have enough intellectual curiosity to explore it once I hear about it. I understand how to use a search engine well enough to explore. I know how to discern between credible sources and non-credible sources. I know how to do that, and I have a desire to get to the truth, not a desire to get to something that confirms my biases. I have no desire to just confirm what I already believe. I'm willing to sacrifice. Okay, so there is something meaningful here. I'm willing to sacrifice being right in exchange for getting the truth. We live in a society that is willing to sacrifice truth for the sake of being right. That's what America is. And if you come to a conversation that you're uninformed about, it's not embarrassing to be ignorant about an issue. It's embarrassing to remain ignorant when you have the opportunity to actually learn. But it's even worse when you are willing to reject truth just for the sake of you being right. And that's where we live right now. America is a country that rejects truth just for the sake of being right. And in this case, their feeling of being right actually is leading to some of them literally dying. They're so committed to their ignorance in this country that they are committed unto death. They are willing to die. They are willing to die. I never would have imagined. I thought that there would be some threshold, some breaking point, right? I thought that there would be like a point where people would be like, okay, we've been playing around. We've been joking around with this. We've been silly. We've been wild, but let's buckle down and not die. No, they're committed to their ignorance all the way unto death. All the way unto death. I just want to play this clip again from yesterday. The Fargo City Council. This is how ignorant this country is, and they are our leaders.
Not fear. And the facts are, I'm just as protected as you are wearing that mask of COVID-19. COVID-19 passes right through that mask. Isn't that correct?
No, it isn't.
No. It is absolutely.
Okay, no public comment.
So, Mr. Chair,
Commissioner will learn not to ask rhetorical questions to the crowd.
I apologize, but basically, a virus it goes right through the mask, and so for us to start mandating something that doesn't work, that doesn't make sense. And as far as the people. Okay, here's how it goes. Once again.
All right. I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. They are so committed to trying to be right in a conversation, in an argument. They want to win the argument. They want to prove that they are quote unquote right. They're not right based on the facts, obviously, but in their mind, they're trying to prove their position to be right. And they're so committed to that they're out here dying in these streets. That's where we are in this country. And I never would believe that people would be so committed to their arrogance and to their ignorance that they'd be willing to die. But here we are. Let's move on a little bit. I want to play a clip. Where do we go next? Let's talk about the microphones being muted. This is a clip from Democracy Now! They break it down for us really quickly, and the debate is Thursday night. Here's a preview.
In more election news, the Presidential Debate Commission announced Monday it will mute the microphones of President Trump and Joe Biden during parts of Thursday's debate. Mics will be muted while the other candidate on stage is responding to the moderator's question in an effort to avoid the chaotic, interruption-filled scene that unfolded at the first debate when President Trump interrupted Joe Biden well over 100 times.
Jesus Christ. I didn't know it was that many times, number one. Number two, I wanted to play that. Thank you to Amy Goodman of Democracy Now! I wanted to play it because she did not create the false equivalence that so many other media companies created, right? Everyone saw the first debate, and everyone who saw the first debate understood where the problem came from. It wasn't at both sides. It was not at both sides. It wasn't that, oh, Joe Biden and Donald Trump, no, it was Donald Trump. And it was this ignorance. And it's the fact that he has no substance whatsoever. So he has to come off in this really bellicose nature, in this bellicose fashion. And he has to put on a show. And so I appreciated that clip from Amy Goodman. It was only like 18 seconds, but in it, she actually proved the point of what it means to have quality journalism, right? She did not draw that false equivalent that I saw the next morning from the New York Times. I think there was an article in the Washington Post that all tried to say, oh, it was a horrible night at the debate, but they didn't say why. The reason they're having to create these rules right now is because we have a moron for a president who's incapable of standing still long enough to have a reasonable, rational conversation. He's not interested in that because he doesn't even know the conservative talking. He doesn't even know the basic standard conservative propaganda. Okay. Now, there's two levels to this. Donald Trump can't have a reasonable conversation because he's a moron. He's an oaf. Conservatives in general don't want to have a substantive debate because their arguments fall apart. What they stand for, what they fight for, it falls apart. Almost like gas. It just evaporates because it's not substantive. It's rooted in lies, propaganda, half-truths. It's without substance. That's why conservatives in general don't want to have debates with leftists and progressives and liberals, right? Donald Trump is slightly different. Donald Trump doesn't want to have the debate because he doesn't even know the conservative talking points, right? All he does is just bring a level of belligerence and, and his bombosity, right? And his arrogance, and he comes to put on a show. So this is going to neutralize him in a really spectacular fashion. I mean, I imagine he's still going to be trying to talk, right? I imagine he's still going to be trying to talk and be heard, even though his microphone is going to be mute. So that's going to be fun to see. He's going to be yelling at the top of his lungs, trying to be heard, even though the fact that his microphone is going to be cut off. So that's going to be a beautiful sight to see. Put this on the screen. Has anyone seen that AOC and Ilhan Omar are playing Among Us on Twitch right now? Yes. That's where apparently, thank you, AOC. I'd tweet her and let her know. Thank you for just killing my audience tonight with your live stream. Like, go play during congressional hours, not during my live stream hours. But no, it's really dope what they're doing. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Ilhan Omar, along with a couple of folks I know from the progressive media community, they're on Twitch playing a video game, and they're using it as a get out the vote mechanism for that entire Twitch community, which is a huge burgeoning community. Let's see what else you guys are talking about. I wouldn't doubt that. Wow. AOC has 402,000 people watching her right now. I'm sure that has to break some record. That has to break some record. I think some of the highest I've ever seen was like 100,000. I've never seen 400,000 people. That's powerful. That's powerful. You cannot. The future of the party is in that direction. All right, let's keep moving. I know all of my audience is over there. It's cool. It's cool. I'm okay. I'm not bad. All right. Let's take a look at this next clip. And I'm going to save some of the best stuff for last. Couple more clips of Trump. Well, actually, this is Mike Kelly. I want you to listen to Representative Mike Kelly at a Donald Trump rally. Listen to the insidiousness of the threat. Just listen. You hear it.
I want every one of you to make a commitment to get out and vote November 3rd and absolutely refuse to lose. This is the president. This is the time. This is your solemn oath to America. We're going to make America great again, because of Donald J. Trump. There's no flu that's going to keep this man down. He makes the Energizer Bunny look like a deadhead. This guy never stops. He never sleeps. He is totally dedicated to each one of you, and we should be totally dedicated to him. I love this president. I love his agenda, and I love the fact that on November 3rd, we're going to put him back in the White House. Mr. President, thank you.
Let's back up to the very first few words he says.
I want every one of you to make a commitment to get out and vote November 3rd and absolutely refuse to lose.
Okay. On any normal election cycle, I would probably pay that comment no attention whatsoever. I have a natural inclination to just say, like, no big deal. Just political rhetoric. But we're not in a normal cycle. We're in a cycle where Donald Trump has gathered up all of his Trump army. Literally, it's like TrumpArmy.com, where he's gathering tens of thousands of people who are going to the polls to be poll watchers. They're organizing, Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. Roger Stone is organizing them right now to enact a voter intimidation campaign. Of course, they'll never call it directly what it is, but that's what they're doing. So this is not a normal election. And so when he says he wants you to make a commitment not to lose, in a normal cycle, I'll be like, okay, well, yeah, no, everyone needs to be committed. Everyone's going to be committed to their own agenda to win, right? I get it. No. The dog whistles are piling up to a bullhorn, right? To a very direct message that they are not going to want to turn over power in this country once he loses, because they're making a commitment not to lose. The best part about this entire conversation, though, is that I think we're getting close to 30 million people, right? I think we'll cross 30 million people this week who have already early voted. They voted early. They can't be intimidated because their vote is already on the books, right? They can't be monitored by the Boogaloo boys because they've already voted. And the demographics suggest that this overwhelming number of people who have early voted, they are voting against Donald Trump and for Joe Biden. So that's the best news out of everything, so that by election night, it could very well be a landslide on election night. Like, in general, I'm telling people to just kind of wait and don't expect to get results, at least for the first week. But with so many people early voting, it's a possibility we may know on election night that Donald Trump has lost. And that's because so many people heard the dog whistles, heard the warnings, heard Donald Trump trying to suppress the vote. They actively saw what he was doing, and everyone made a plan of how they were going to get their vote counted to avoid. And this is the thing. This is the saddest part, is that we're having to actively avoid the voter suppression tactics that are being used by Republicans. I played it last night, and I kind of feel like playing it again. Because it really just shows you the extent to which they're willing to disenfranchise Americans.
Investigators are searching for the person who set a ballot drop box on fire in Baldwin Park. Firefighters say someone purposely tossed burning newspaper into the box, damaging an unknown number of ballots.
Good morning, Giovanna. This one is located on Baldwin Park Boulevard, just outside the public library. Baldwin Park police are still looking for the person who vandalized his ballot box last night. According to city of
this is the level of commitment they have to disenfranchising you. And I think enough Americans saw that, and they made plans to vote early to get around all of the voter suppression that they're trying to enact. All right, let's get you guys in the conversation. This is Trumpers claim civil war comes November 3rd. They're screaming it on live stream protest marches. Yeah. I mean, they've been talking about the second civil war, ironically enough. They've been talking about the second civil war since Donald Trump won, right? Since they gained power, they immediately went into this civil war mode where they managed. I will give them this, and I want to give you this. This is important. Conservatives have mastered the art of being both in power, but pretending as though they're out of power. Conservatives have mastered the art of pretending as though they are oppressed, when in actuality, they are the oppressors. Very straightforward. When Donald Trump won in 2017, they won power. They had all the branches of the government. But they instantly and immediately acted like they were powerless so that they can forward narratives that would make it seem like justice is on their side. I'm trying to see how I can make it extremely plain. The reason they always talk about stuff like the war on Christmas is because they understand that there is a value to being able to convince their supporters that they are on the side of justice and they are the ones who are being oppressed. Therefore, we should galvanize your righteous indignation and you should stand up and fight against the oppression of people who are in power. Right. I hope everybody's following me. They understand that if people individually, if an individual feels like they have been slighted, it energizes the pursuit of justice inside of them. Somebody steals your lunch, you feel like you have a righteous cause to go and snatch your lunch back, right? Somebody steals your car, you feel like you have been slighted, you feel like you have been victimized, you feel like you've been oppressed, and you have the right to go and seek justice. That energy that you get from the feeling of being oppressed or done wrong or abused or mistreated or cheated, that feeling that you get is powerful. It's powerful enough to overthrow empires, right? Every narrative that you pick up in the Bible, it has like a narrative of justice. Like it has the people who feel like they have been oppressed by Group A who are now rising up to get victory over Group A. Same thing throughout history. This is why it's so important to the conservatives that we don't teach history from the perspective of the people's history. I believe his name Howard Zinn's book, who gives the narrative of American history from the perspective of the indigenous people, from the workers and the labor rights movement, right? Because it's a totally different narrative. It places the real story of America places the narrative of the just in the hands of the people who are trying to survive America. I want to make sure I get this out really plain. Conservatives 100% understand that it is necessary for them at all times to have power and to pretend as though they're powerless. Because if they don't pretend like they're powerless, then people will become complacent, right? People won't have that anger. They won't have that quote unquote righteous indignation. They won't feel like they are suffering. They won't feel like they are oppressed. And more importantly, it makes these people who have all the power in the country look at people who have no power and look at like people from the trans community. And all of a sudden, the big bad wolf for Fox News viewers and conservatives are a group of people who literally have the least amount of power in our society. So the reason I'm talking about this is because we saw this happen in real time in 2017. Donald Trump came into power. He had the White House. He had the Supreme Court. He had the House of Representatives. He had the Senate. More or less, he had the Supreme Court. But they had an overwhelming majority of power. They could do anything that they wanted to do. They had all the power. And what did they do instantly? One, they wielded that power to get all the tax breaks that they wanted. But two, they instantly started conversations about a civil war as if they were oppressed. It is the master stroke of propaganda to be able to have all the power in this country and to pretend like you're powerless. To be able to pretend as though you are oppressed when in reality you are the oppressor. And that is the masterwork of conservatism in this country. And it is on purpose, because if the people ever get the sensation that they're wrong, that, wow, wait a minute, I'm oppressing this group, they can, do you know how, that will utterly neutralize. That will neutralize a conservative movement if any of their supporters ever get a moment of a brief epiphany to realize, wait a minute, you mean I've been the one oppressing this group? That's why they reject racial bias training. That's why they reject critical race theory. That's why they reject the people's history of the United States. That's why they reject all these notions, because they cannot let their supporters ever get the sensation that they are wrong, that they are the oppressors. Because what happens when you get the inclination that you've done wrong and that you've been the oppressor? If you have any type of empathy in you whatsoever, you're not a full-blown sociopath like most of the Republican leadership, and Donald Trump most certainly is, then you will instantly feel a sensation of guilt, and you would start to consider the other person's perspective. In order for them to never consider your perspective, you have to always be more powerful than they are, even though simultaneously you're powerless. And that is one of the number one techniques of fascism, to be quite honest with you. That is a direct playbook. That's a direct play out of the fascist playbook. All right, let's keep trucking. Let's see what other comments you guys have. Robert says, I hope these turds see that they are how wrong they are someday. Yeah, Command Z. Inconvenience is oppression to the white ruling class, right? Simply not being able to tell you what to do. I'm going to go one step further. It's not just them. It is them being inconvenienced, right? They don't want to be inconvenienced because to them that's oppression. But they also consider not being able to control your life as oppression. They literally define their liberty based on being able to control your liberty. They define their freedoms based on being able to control your freedoms. More precisely, if they can't tell you what to do, how to live, where to go, how to be, if they can't tell a woman what to do with her body, if they can't tell gay couples that they can't get married, then they feel like they are oppressed. Literally. They feel like they are oppressed because they cannot dictate to you how you should live your life. Happy birthday to Kamala. Today is her birthday. She's an AKA, born on October 20th. And my wife is an AKA, also born on October 20th. So not only happy birthday to Kamala, but also happy birthday to my queen, my wife, my baby. I might put a picture up of her later on so y'all can see what we're working with over here in the Dixon household. So I saw somebody say, Bye, Miller. Miller's on Twitter saying, you're fake and just giving your opinion about what you don't know what you're talking about. You're fake. Bye. Bye, bitch. I don't care. The other 1,000 of us are cool. We good. Bye. Anyway, I saw somebody say something about Trayvon Martin. And I think that they were putting it in. And while I'm looking for a very special shout out to Liz from South Africa. It's 4 a.m. over there. Thank you. Who said that about? I really want to find it because I think that's a perfect example. There it is. Grey Wolf Rainsfall said, I call it the Trayvon Martin effect. Whereas the victim is the murderer and the murderer is painted as the victim to defend the indefensible. I couldn't have said it better, Grey Wolf. I'm going to put it back on the screen. The Trayvon Martin effect, where the victim is the murderer and the murderer is painted as the victim to defend the indefensible. This is the handiwork of sociopaths who understand what's necessary to always remain in power. To always remain in power, you have to snatch justice, the very idea of justice. You got to snatch that away from people who you oppressed, right? You can't ever allow groups of people to ever organize around their righteous indignation. So you got to snatch it away. And all of a sudden you got to gaslight them to the nth degree. So now you have them really questioning like, well, is it wrong for them to have pulled up on Tamir Rice and shot him 2 seconds entering on the scene? Like they try to tell us that Tamir Rice was to blame because they can never let us organize around the fact that we have been robbed of justice on a regular basis, on a daily basis in this country, not just centered around race. Yes, we have been denied justice for years, for generations around race, but around economic exploitation, around COVID-19, like around our healthcare system, around the fact that we live in a system that allows people to profit off of your most miserable time in the most painful time in your life. People battling cancer, people battling diabetes, people battling all sorts of diseases. And we have a system that's erected that allows people to make profits off of your pain, off of your sickness. And then what do? Because normal time, if we ever were able to see it clearly, without the gaslighting that goes on, oh man, this country would have been changed a long time ago. It would have been changed a long time ago, because how absurd is it? How absurd is it for there to be middlemen making profits, making billions of dollars of profit off of people who are fighting cancer? Like, the absurdity of it all. But the way they maintain it is by snatching away the narrative of justice from the people who have been abused and systematically oppressed in this country, and trying to find ways of making the oppressive group, the group that does the oppression, feel like they are the victims. That's why every Christmas we have a war on Christmas, because they got to make sure that these Christians feel like, evangelical Christians specifically, feel like they have been victimized in this country. Oh, we can't say Merry. Yes, the hell you can. I say Merry Christmas every damn year. Every year. Nobody stopped me from saying Merry Christmas. Then I might turn around and say Feliz Navidad. I might turn around and say Happy Hanukkah. Whatever. I just whatever I want to say. Nobody's stopping me. Oh no. We can't pray in school. The hell you can't. I pray in school all the time when I know I hadn't studied for a test and I needed to pass. I used to pray all the time. Nobody ever stopped me. And every now and then, God came through with a miracle and I passed. But besides the point, nobody's stopping you. What they're upset about is the fact that they don't have the ability to force you to live according to their rules and their doctrines and their theology. And so that's why they feel like they are oppressed. And it is gaslighting of the highest order. It is manipulative. And the best way for you to understand it is some of you in your personal relationships, like in your significant others, right? That's the type of gaslighting that goes on in abusive relationships, where they make you guilty, like you know they were wrong, but then they make you feel guilty, and then they walk away feeling like, I have been vindicated because you heard. No, I caught you. You were the one that was cheating. You're the one that did this. You're the one that spent all of our money. You're the one who didn't, whatever it is. Gaslighting of the highest order is to be able to be dead ass wrong, but project that wrongness on someone else and rob them of the opportunity to get justice. I love the name of it that you gave it, because it's absolutely right. It is a Trayvon Martin effect, where the victim becomes the victimizer and the victimizer gets away with being perceived as the victim. All right, let's keep rocking. Hero Shots, glad you got that vote in. Very great. Theus on YouTube said evangelicals feel if they can't push you, then they are mean for not falling over. Yeah, I got it now. It took me a second. I had to read it again. Gaslighting is exactly what they're doing. All right, let's look at another clip here. Let's keep the party going, such as it is. I want to play a clip from one of our producers. I haven't put this video out on Facebook yet. It was a busy day, wife's birthday, but it's out on YouTube and you can watch the whole clip. It is Jake from our team, and he did a phone banking call, and I think it really is a meaningful exercise for people who want to participate and see, to do some phone banking. But this call in particular really was able to get someone who is straddling the fence on whether to vote or not, or whether to vote for Trump or whether to vote for Biden. He was able to get them off the fence. You'll be able to see the whole video in its entirety on YouTube. I will have it on Facebook, if not later on tonight, more than likely first thing tomorrow. But take a look at this for a second.
There's a lot of unlawfulness going on. It makes me uncomfortable when we see all of this burning and all of this rioting. I don't know who I'm voting for yet. I'm still trying to figure it out, I'll be honest.
If this is the last conversation with a stranger you have until election, I want to tell you one thing. Hey, I'm Jake. I'm a producer for Benjamin Dixon. And actually, I had quite a few things I was going to tell that woman. So this is a phone banking phone call, and normally I just try to help people figure out where to vote, how to vote, but this woman was totally on the fence and basically invited me to try to convince her not to vote for Trump, so that's what I did. I hope this video will inspire you to get on the phone and phone bank, because you never know who you're going to inspire. he's a racist. No, I won't condemn white supremacists. I mean, that just doesn't make any sense.
I heard him say condemn him a lot of times,
But really? When it counted, like the other night in the debate when he's like,
when it counted? What do you mean when it counted?
I mean when people were really listening and he was put on the spot and said, "Hey, will you condemn white supremacy?" He didn't do that on the debate stage. He said, "Stand back and stand by." That's very different than stand down.
I don't know who I'm voting for yet. I am registered, plan on voting and all that. I'm still trying to figure it out, I'll be honest. I'm still trying to figure it out. I think both sides are very corrupt.
Let me ask you this.
The whole government is corrupt.
Hold on. I agree with you. I think we have a two-party system, and both of them are really serving the rich and the corporations. That's what I think. I don't like any of them. But here's the problem. Here's the big problem.
There's so much burning and looting. I mean, I just can't seem to get my head out of that.
Have you seen any of that in Pennsylvania?
Rioting?
Yeah.
No.
Anything in your neighborhood, anywhere near you?
No.
If this is the last conversation with a stranger you have until election, I want to tell you one thing. I'm Jewish, and my grandfather escaped Nazi Germany the day that Hitler arrived in Czechoslovakia. And then he made it to America, and then they sent him back in the army. He liberated the camps. But I'm telling you that Donald Trump, his whole playbook is straight out of the fascist playbook, telling everybody that the news is fake, making everybody not believe what they're seeing. Dude, he's not going to accept losing.
They'll have to accept it.
Oh yeah, really? Okay, we'll see about that. I don't think so. I don't think it's gonna go like that. No.
I'm hiding in my room and not leaving my house.
Sorry, I had myself muted. So shout out to Jake. A lot of patience on that call. Good job on that. And if you watch the full clip, she admitted to having basically an enlightening moment, an epiphany, so to speak, about just some basic information that I think is common knowledge to us, but it's not common knowledge to a lot of people. No telling how she's going to vote or if she's going to vote at all, but I think it was worthwhile. Definitely think it was worthwhile. All right, let's take a pause. I want to go through some super chats, and I want to go through all of the. Here we go. Where do we start? Let's start with H.T. Wells over on Twitch. Thank you so much for cheering with 25 bits. I appreciate that. Torches and Pitchforks on YouTube said, Ben, this morning was hilarious. The Black Proud Boys dude getting his teeth knocked out was so satisfying. I may have to play that tonight so everyone can know what you're talking about. There was a black man who was organizing with fascists. No, for real, like organizing with Proud Boys. And you can hear in the clip, their intention was to go out there and beat people up. Like he literally admitted that he was going out there to stomp people down. And he got his two front teeth knocked out. So, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I'm not, that I'm opposed to all violence. I'm not going to say that at all. I'm going to say I laughed my ass off when I saw that because you reap what you sow. He went out there to beat some people down and ended up getting his two front teeth knocked out. That's what Torches and Pitchforks is talking about. Thanks for the super chat. A comment from H.T. Wells. What does his arm have to do with anything? Talking about Anthony Fauci. It's just another way that Donald Trump gets to try to belittle somebody and make them say it's gaslighting. It's gaslighting of Anthony Fauci as well as the American people. I got a comment here that was highlighted by one of the producers. Said Dixon, astute, solid, intelligent, and well-researched assessments. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Lappin 074. Let's keep going. I've got BDHU 2001 said the experts explain that Trump listeners. No, I'm sorry. Let me start here. The experts explain that Trump listens to whatever he likes the sound of. In other words, he discounts anything that goes against what he wants to hear. Exactly. He has more interest in being right in his mind than he is the truth. And that's the most dangerous. That is the most dangerous thing that you can encounter in anything, in life, in business, in politics, in relationships, to find someone who's more committed to them feeling as though they're right versus being committed to the truth. BDHU 2001 on Twitch says some of them are peeling off. It's the elected officials who keep leading people astray. I agree. Amber Benson said 148 times. I'm not sure what that's in reference to. Producers, if you can update me on that. JC Matamoros on Facebook said, today at work, I wore a mask. Had 4 people call me a sheep, a Democrat, smirk, laugh. My reply, bye. You bite at them. Here's the thing. I love what you did, but this is something that you could also do. It is the fact that they like to call us sheep, but they're the ones who are being led to the slaughter. Andy from Ohio said, no, Ben, Trump does know the QAnon talking points, LOL. Right. He does not know conservative mainstay talking points, but he does know QAnon talking points. Another super chat from YouTube. Lee Levin says, sticking with you always, too old for Twitch. I appreciate it. I'm too old for Twitch, but I'm trying to be everywhere. Okay, so we already passed 30 million. Okay, there's another clip that we'll play. Thank you for that note. Torches and Pitchforks says $10 super chat to show the teeth cause and effect video. I'm going to show it. I'm not going to show it not just because you asked to show it, but I'm going to show it because, man, yeah. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to play this, and we're going to play this in honor of Torches and Pitchforks on YouTube because he gave $5 on a super chat to make sure that you get to laugh as much this evening as we laughed this morning. So that's going to come up before. And David, if you could grab the clip from my Twitter timeline and drop it in the drive, I'll get it played before the end of the night. Robert M. said, thank you for all you do, Prophet Dixon. I'm laughing because no matter what I do, no matter where I go, I could never get away from like the being perceived as like like a preacher, pastor kind of religious kind of thing. It's all good. No matter how much I cuss or drink, it doesn't matter. People are like, you still reverend. The Franchise 2K on YouTube said, Ben speaks the truth. Best progressive voice speaking for us. Thank you. I'm just trying to, honestly, it is immensely rewarding, but also easy to just tell the truth. When you simply tell the truth, you don't have to prevaricate, you don't have to dance, you don't have to, contort, do mental contortions, you don't have to do any of that. You can just stand flat-footed and speak the truth. So thank you for that, the Franchise 2K. Grumpy Old Nerd said, Trump turned me into a straight-up Marxist. So one good thing has come from his presidency. Shout out to that's awesome. I'm glad. Hey, good on you, man. Grumpy Old Nerd. Lee Klaus said, I like to ask other whites what I call the Braveheart question. What would Braveheart look like if Native Americans were the Scots? Great. That is the most dangerous thing that you could do for anyone. Oh, case in point, like my kids are watching, part of their homeschooling is because I'm not sending my kids back to, I'm sorry, not until about 3 months after the entirety of the Congress, U.S. Congress takes the vaccine. 3 to 6 months, we're going to stay in the hole and make sure that that vaccine is good, effective, and safe. Then we're going to take it. So we're not going back to school probably to fall of 2021. Hopefully, we can all get back to school. But while we're homeschooling, I've been listening to the video selections that the program that they're enrolled in gives them for history lessons. And it's taken them through the Revolutionary War, the founding of the country. And I'm listening and I'm like, no, this propaganda shall not stand. Like, I realize that's the same indoctrination that I got growing up. Like I have been so indoctrinated in the lies of American history that, you know, I have been properly indoctrinated, right? Second grade, I was reciting the preamble to the Constitution, right? I've always been enamored and in love with like Washington, D.C. and the monuments and just the story of the founding of America. I've been properly indoctrinated, and it just takes so long to undo that indoctrination. But the linchpin that actually helps you break free from that indoctrination is to take a second to consider the perspective of the other side, right? What bothers me about this program that they're playing, that my kids are going through, right? And what I did, by the way, was I ordered a children's version of the history of the people's history of America, of the United States by Howard Zinn. There's a children's version with animations and all that kind of stuff and pictures. And so we're going to teach them that. But what bothers me about this propagandized version of it is that they whitewash everything. Slaves were just happy servants, looked like maids, right? And butlers. The native people, they were happy to fight alongside of America in honor of whatever like the native people instantly saw the destiny of America, and they were, no, BS, flag on the play. And so the key, the linchpin to changing all of our minds who have been properly indoctrinated, saying the Pledge of Allegiance in school every single day, reciting the preamble of the Constitution, right? Whatever the founding documents are, all the propaganda that we have been indoctrinated with can be undone if you ever get people to sit down and consider the other side's perspective. So thank you for that, Lee Cloud. Yes Star said, Ari, birthday. Happy birthday to your awesome wife. Thank you. Blessings, Earth Strong Empress. Thank you so much. AK all the way. Night. See you in the morning. Moving. Thank you, Reverend. We moving. She goes with us. Reverend Donna Gilbert. Thank you for the super chat, and thank you for always running with us in the morning, or just moving your body, whether you're running or not. Sarah, thank you for the super chat. She says, Tyrant Playbook. Stoke fear/hate. Limit information while spreading lies. Restrict practices of rights. Get rid of teachers, artists, and scientists. Absolutely. Absolutely. 148 times Donald Trump interrupted at the debate. Thank you for that correction. And he's already got the clip here. Producers are on it. Bello Gino said on YouTube, Trump maintains Chinese bank accounts, according to the New York Times. I have to dig in that. I haven't picked that up yet. And Infinite Content said, Ben, whenever you need those math and science tutorials, let me know. Finally going to put up some on Sunday. Dope. Very nice. All right, let me just check this clip. Make sure it's the one. It's the before and after. Okay, still processing. All right. That's it. Thank you, everyone, for all the super chats. We check in occasionally. My producers take pictures of all the comments across the different platforms and put into one place so that I don't miss any of them. So thank you for everyone with the super chats and the comments and the cheers and the bits. Yes, Franco, thank you. Do that. Hit the like button for Ben's wife's birthday present. I'll take it. Let's go into another clip real quick. There's a lot more to talk about. Let's go to, where's my folder? Okay, great. Oh yeah, and I got to talk about this guy. Let's listen in.
There's going to be a war. Ezekiel 38 is going to be the next thing down the line. Then a time of peace. Then maybe the end. But nobody knows the day or the hour when the Lord's going to come back. He said the angels don't know it, and only the Father knows it. So I'm not saying this is the second coming, but I am saying there are things that people have thought would be during a millennial time with the coming of Jesus that are going to happen in our lifetime. And the next thing is the election that's coming up in just a few weeks, at which time, according to what I believe the Lord told me, the president, is going to be reelected. I'm saying by all means get out and vote for whoever you want to vote for, but by all means let your voice be heard. But it's going to lead to civil unrest of a great proportion, then a war against Israel and so forth and so on.
This man. Now, let me tell you how properly indoctrinated I've been. I grew up watching Pat Robertson every single day. I grew up watching John Hagee every single Sunday. I grew up reciting. I have been probably one of the most propagandized, indoctrinated people in this country. I think we all have been thoroughly indoctrinated. But man, when you break free from it, it's almost like, wow, how did I ever, how did I not see the game that these people were playing back then? Well, one reason I was 8 years old, but notwithstanding that, what he's talking about here, and I guess I'm really glad that I did grow up with that, because I could break it down to you very simply. What he's saying is that Donald Trump is the harbinger of the end times. He's alluding to prophecy from the Bible that so many Christians have taken and interpreted to mean that the second coming of Christ is near and it's nigh and is soon to come. And there's so many things about this that are worthwhile talking about. Let me start here. Number one, there are people who are committed to the idea of the second of Christ, so much so that they're willing to bring about and force Armageddon in order to force God's hand. In other words, we are being led by religious zealots who are so committed to the end of the world, because they believe the end of the world signifies Jesus' second coming and the great victory of this white supremacist interpretation of Christianity. They're so committed to it that instead of waiting for God to do it, they're going to do it themselves. That's why they don't care about climate change. That's why they don't care about cooperation on the international stage. That's why they don't care about instituting coups in Bolivia. That's why they don't care about anything that they do, because they believe that the second coming is nigh. And oh, by the way, even if it isn't, we could force the hand of Armageddon. Underneath that is the most obvious observation. These people are going to get us killed. These theocratic monsters and sociopaths are so committed to their religious dogma and their particular interpretation of the Bible, by the way, right? It is a master stroke of connecting the dots that they weave together the end time prophecies in the first place. But they're going to get a lot of us killed. Because they are so, and this is why it's so dangerous to have religious zealots in power. This is why it's so dangerous to have someone like Amy Coney Barrett in power, on the bench, because they rule from the perspective of their dogma. And that is detrimental not only to people who don't believe. It's not just detrimental to atheists, agnostics, Muslims, whatever, who don't believe in the white supremacist Jesus. It's detrimental to those of us, well, we don't believe in the white supremacist Jesus anyway. So it's detrimental to everybody who rejects the white supremacist Jesus. It's even detrimental to themselves. Because they are ready to start. Who's out here ready to fight, right? Let's just think about it who's really out here trying to start a civil war? You think I'm trying to start a civil war? You think me with my cute little kids, my big-headed, cute little kids, my gorgeous wife, we got a nice little living room. Don't go to the other side because it ain't popping like, the living room, the wood grain here is still good. Don't go in the kitchen because it looks a hot mess. You think with us, with our little, middle-class lifestyle and family, for days. You think we're interested in starting this violence? So who is? The people who feel like they are entitled to everything in this country. The people who feel like they're entitled to everything in this country because of what they believe, because of their religion. The people who feel like they have to dominate society through a dominionism theology to control the society. They are more than happy to destroy they have a sense of fatalism. They have a sense of fatalism, and they wrap it in religious dogma, which makes them perhaps some of the most dangerous people on the face of the planet, especially if you happen to snatch away victory by outvoting them on November 3rd. These clowns are ready to burn this all down. You know what? Too bad, so sad. Like, we ain't trying to start this fight. But I'm sure as hell not going to let you run over us. All this Disney dad stuff, all this stuff, all of you who are listening, I know without a shadow of a doubt that you're not going to bend your knee to these fascists. Period. End of conversation. We don't want to start. We're not going to start it. But we're sure as hell not going to run from you. That said, Bailey, where have you been? All of this stream, all of my streaming life. The right wants civil war. The left wants health care. Extremists on the left, we just want to get rid of poverty. They want Armageddon. Don't you ever thank you, Bailey. Don't you ever let people draw this equivalence between a radical on the left like me and a radical on the right. Only thing I'm interested in is making sure that everyone has their basic needs met, so that the bottom of Maslow's hierarchy of needs are met, so people can go beyond subsistence living, go beyond just trying to live check to check just to pay their rent, just so they can have a place to stay. I just want people to get that met so that they can go about their lives and achieve the level of greatness that's inside of every single human. These motherfuckers want to start Armageddon. Larry D. Ray, you better defend yourself and your family. Oh, I am a Second Amendment American. I do believe in regulations, but until such time they regulate it, my family will. Let me tell you something. My number one thing, I'm going home to my family. Confrontations, whatever. I'll be wise, I'll be smart, try to avoid, try to maneuver. I was a kid in school who could talk cash money stuff, right? But always was able to talk my way right out of a fight and move I'm slick. I got word game. I could get my way in a fight and get my way out of a fight. But in real life, at the end of the day, when the rubber meets the road, I expect every one of us. There's not a person who is not going to preserve their own life. So while these clowns are out here acting like they bad and trying to start a second civil war, truth of the matter is that I don't know that they realize what they're up against, because we're not going to shoot the first shot. We have no interest in it. We want you to get health care with your racist ass. That's fine. You be racist. We still want you to get health care. You, on the other hand, want a pure Aryan nation. You want a ethno state. These people are wild, man. Let's see. Hey, if we got to. And that's the thing, like, again, no parts of me has any need or desire to act like I'm a badass. Because I don't have to. But I think people need to put it in context. What will people do to protect their family? Which is totally different than some single, 30-something-year-old white guy who's out there trying to assert his badness and trying to assert his manhood. Do you not understand? Like, you could run into a woman who is as pacifists or, you know, just really just loving kumbaya, mother caring and all. Who do you think gonna win? A dude who's out there trying to prove his manhood in the Proud Boys, or a woman who's going to protect her children? Psh, they messing with the wrong folks, man. They messing with the wrong. Speaking of, let me get that clip. My producers uploaded it. Let me get that clip. Let me show you. Oh, it's the right one too. I'm looking at it right now. And listen, I want to make sure everybody understands. No quarter for fascists. I don't care if you're a white fascist, a brown fascist, a Christian fascist, an atheist fascist, and I certainly don't care if you're a black fascist. If you're organizing with fascists, there is no quarter for you. And this black brother found out the hard way.
All we're going to be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth.
You gotta see it again. Hang on.
All we're gonna be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth. All we're gonna be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth.
One more time.
All we're gonna be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth.
Oh, wait a minute. Y'all can't hear it?
All we're going to be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth.
Okay. This man was organizing the Proud Boys to go out there and attack people. He was so proud that he organized these fascists to go out there. Somebody please drop a beat to that. Can somebody pitchforks and torches? Thank you for bringing that joy into our life. I appreciate that. Hang on, my boy Skits Bebo said something. I want to go back and see what he said. I saw somebody give him a shout out. But bro, somebody drop a beat to that. This dude went out there with the intention of hurting people. God don't like ugly men. One more time.
Now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth. All we're going to be doing now is beating the living shit out of all the people trying to stop. They knock out my front teeth. All we're going to be doing now is...
All we're going to be doing now is they knocked out my front teeth. Oh, man, listen. Oh, man, thank you, man. Thank you, pitchfork, torches and pitchforks. Don't organize with fascist people. That's the moral of the story. Don't think because you're a black fascist that you're going to get away with it. You think you're going to get some special treatment? Like you're like, oh, well, they're not going to knock me down because I'm black. Nah, bro. You're on the wrong side of the fence. You're over there with the people who wear swastikas. You're going to get got. And we would much rather, let me bring it back in. We would clearly much rather be peaceful and make sure that everyone is provided for in our society. But we have no requirement whatsoever to tolerate people who are intolerant. We don't. David, if you could grab the Tolerance Paradox, get the meme version of it because the actual solution to the paradox is kind of long. Karl Popper gave a solution to the Intolerance Paradox because a lot of people are like, well, Ben, you can't meet violence with violence. You can't be intolerant to intolerant people because that makes you intolerant yourself. And a lot of us get stuck there. Like, what do we do? What do we do when we're dealing with people who are intolerant, and we want ourselves to be tolerant. Does that mean we have to tolerate people who don't tolerate us? No, it doesn't. And I'm going to give my producer some time to actually pull that up, because they knocked out my front teeth. I have nightmares. I have recurring dreams. How many of you have, just show of hands, if you have had the recurring dream of your teeth falling out, right? I have that dream maybe once every 2 weeks, once a month. And I'll wake up and like, oh my God, my teeth are still here. That dude woke up and his teeth are gone, bruh. All right, let's move on. A couple people have it. Yep. They knocked out my front teeth. Mara says she has it. A lot of people had that dream. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I needed that laugh, folks. All right, let's get one more video in here while I wait on a couple other clips. Let's see. Oh, wrong folder. Wow, we've covered a lot of ground tonight. How much time do we have left? We have 10 minutes left. Actually, I don't know if I want to play any more videos. I want to read this tolerance paradox, and we'll talk about that. A lot of people, Larry D. Ray wants to know who knocked out his front teeth. Counter protesters. So you had the Proud Boys, which is a white supremacist. Listen, I want to make sure people are clear. You 100% could be a black person working on behalf of white supremacy. We usually get it in a rhetorical way. You get like Candace Owens, who uses her voice to fight on behalf of white supremacy. Well, this dude wasn't too smart, decided to put his body out there to fight on behalf of Proud Boys and white supremacy. And he ran into a counter protester, a black man, who saw this other black man who was organizing with fascists, and one thing led to another. And there's a photo on the internet where you can see the moment of the punch, and you can see the punch, and you can see the tooth flying out of his mouth. Lindsay says she has that dream all the time. Larry Gilliford, it's funny how we all have the same recurring dreams. I knew this was coming. Somebody said all he wants for Christmas are his 2 front teeth. All right, I want to close with the tolerance paradox. Just give my producer some time. I know they are super fast and super efficient. And wait a minute, hang on, what was this? I saw another great video. Okay, no, we'll save that one for tomorrow. We'll save that one for tomorrow. And tell you what I can do in case you guys can't find it. It's Karl Popper with a K. I should have told you that. But it's definitely worth us considering it. Because I know a lot of people get hung up. A lot of people get hung up on this idea of fighting back, right? And the idea of hang on, let's see what the notification says from my producer. Here we go. The paradox of tolerance. Unlimited tolerance must lead to the destruction of life. Yep, okay, this will do. This one would do just fine. Let me just download this real quick and share it with you, because I think it's really, really meaningful. Yes, I did. Thank you. I got it. I'm going to put it on your screen. It's worthwhile, the conversation. This is Karl Popper and the Tolerance Paradox. Excuse me for not having a nice big version of it right away. Let me just stretch it out. And this was his solution to the tolerance paradox. He said, unlimited tolerance must lead to the disappearance of tolerance. If we extend unlimited tolerance, even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed, and tolerance with them. We should therefore claim, in the name of tolerance, the right to not tolerate the intolerant. Philosopher Karl Popper. Oddly enough, this is a lesson that we have to reteach every generation. For two reasons. First, because within us ourselves, we don't want to use violence. We don't want to use deplatforming. We don't want to use silencing of a particular group. We don't want to engage in those practices because we fear that engaging in those practices will inevitably lead to blowback that will bring violence, right? Intolerance will bring even more intolerance. We have this natural inclination in us to not want to use those devices to obtain and maintain power. The second reason we have to teach this in every generation is because one of the number one tools that they use against us is our natural inclination towards being tolerant. The best example I can give you is a podcast between white supremacist Richard Spencer, and I don't know who the other guy was. I did a show on it some years back, and I'll try to find the clip between tonight and tomorrow. But in that conversation, they were discussing whether or not they actually believe in freedom of speech. And they just very candidly admitted that they believe in freedom of speech to the extent that they can use the freedom of speech to gain power and take freedom of speech away from everyone else. They said it very directly. Their strategy is to use these systems to gain power and then rip the systems from underneath everyone else. To me, that's the best example of what happens when we are pushed into a scenario where we feel like we have to be tolerant of intolerant people. Let me fill in the blanks. That we have to sit by and give equal time and equal opportunity to Nazis, right? It's this very liberal idea that we will fight to the death to make, I might disagree with you, but I will fight to the death to make sure you can say what you want to say and believe what you want to believe, right? That's like the gold standard of liberalism. And I don't just mean American liberals, but just liberalism in general on the global stage. It is to be ecumenical, it's to be tolerant, it's to be to try to coexist and try to coexist with people who disagree with you. The problem is when you are fighting on behalf of people who would use your willingness to fight on their behalf to obtain power. They see you as a sucker. They will use you being willing to fight on their behalf to strip away your rights and your freedoms. This is literally their strategy. This is not hyperbole. This is what they are actively doing. They will use freedom of speech to get power so that no one could ever criticize them. Let's get specific, right? We come through this whole phase, the last couple of years of, cancel culture is bad and free speech absolutists who say, we got to protect what the Nazi wants to say. Okay, you do realize that Nazi is leveraging your willingness to protect what they have to say to seize power so that they can strip away your free speech. So how do you solve it? Well, Karl Popper, I think he did an amazing job. I can, give him his props. But he answered it. And I want to read it one more time in context of everything that I just said. He said, the unlimited tolerance, I want to switch a word here, inevitably leads to the disappearance of tolerance. Unlimited tolerance inevitably leads to the disappearance of tolerance. If we extend unlimited tolerance even to those who are intolerant, if we are not prepared to defend a tolerant society against the onslaught of the intolerant, then the tolerant will be destroyed and tolerance with them. We should therefore claim in the name of tolerance the right not to tolerate the intolerant. Yeah. Let's read. All right, so who are we rating? That's it for tonight, folks. Again, I got to go to sleep. I got to be able to get up and run. I want y'all to come running with us. We run every morning. We move our bodies. Let me be accurate. We're not all running. Some of us are moving. Some people are just moving their arms, getting started. Some people are moving their legs just to get started. I'm running. Some people are sprinting. I'm not sprinting yet. I'm leaving that to y'all. But wemovin.life. WEMOVIN.life. And you can join us on our run at 6 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm going to jump back into my producer's chat, and I want to make sure I give everyone who did a super chat, I want to give everybody their props. Black Prophet sent a super chat with just some laughs. I think he was laughing at that brother who got his teeth knocked out. Hey, man, you organize with fascists, you wake up with no teeth. Let me go all the way back. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything. Perfect. Okay. Azazel. I'm so sorry, my friend, but thank you for subscribing on Twitch at Tier 1. Micah Thurston said the truth shouldn't wait until a college level woman in history, until a college level women in American history course. Yes. Our moral frameworks are built when we're young. Thank you, Micah. Thank you. I see what you did there. And it can't. It's got to start now. That's why I'm ordering, and it should be here this week, if not next, the children's version of the People's History of the United States. Andy from Ohio said, on that topic, what event helped you break free of the conservative thinking? It was the fact that no matter how indoctrinated, let me tell you, can I tell y'all a secret? One of the most powerful tools in this country are two things. Number one, the narrative of the just. And actually, let me flip it. Number one, the black church. And number two, the narrative of the just. What kept me from becoming some, Clarence Thomas-ass person, Pamela. Some Clarence Thomas-ass individual was the fact that while I was being indoctrinated with Americana, we, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, to establish justice and secure domestic tranquility, to provide for the common defense and promote the general welfare, and to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States of America. Right? Learned that in second grade. And then you had the music, America, we found a place, a newborn place called America. I remember all that shit from second grade. But at the same time, I saw the injustices, right? At the same time, I experienced racism, right? At the same time, I was learning the true history of America. At the same time, I was listening to my father preach about the injustices, about liberation, about freedom. So I had this cognitive dissonance in my head that existed at the same time. And I think finally, to be honest with you, it was being a black person in America that trumped, no pun intended, that trumped all of that. Trumped all of that. And that's why that's why white evangelical Christians are willing to spend millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars, buying out prosperity gospel black preachers. Because no matter how well I was indoctrinated with the United States of America, I always learned about liberation. I always learned about the oppressed. I always learned about being set free from the oppressors. I always learned about the history of this country from the perspective of black folks. As I got older, I started to intentionally go and learn about the history of America from other groups that I was not a part of, the LGBTQ community, labor, like labor unions. I never actively participated in them growing up, or my father didn't. And so it was something that I learned that perspective as I got older, which made me even more progressive. Thank you for that question. All right, where you guys going? Or where we? Oh, I'm sorry. I got more comments. I gotta read. I love this. Oh, wait a minute. We had a raid tonight. Left Flank Vote raided us with 40 people. I'm sorry, I almost missed that. Shout out to Left Flank Votes. Thank you for coming over. We appreciate it. Mary Animal says, quote, yes, we want your racist ass to make a living wage. Aren't we scary? Right? We want you to be prosperous and be in good health, live long and prosper. And we're just evil people for that. Erythropathic. I think I'm just going to accept your $2. Thank you. Jamer Anzi said, I'll have to look that video up, Ultra Fail. Look it up. It's on Twitter. Talking about the guy who got his teeth knocked out. H2L says, maybe the guy who got his teeth knocked out will support Medicare for all so he can see a dentist now. I love it. Jamer Anise, finally. I finally learned how to say it. They SpongeBobbed him. Yikes. Robert Wilson on YouTube said a black pretender joined the wrong team. Tell you, bro, it's not safe out here for you to be a black fascist. That's just like, bruh. That's like Ben Shapiro supporting these fascists. Infinite Content said he needs Medicare for all for his teeth, for sure. Sean Erdwin said on YouTube, all he wants for Christmas is his two front teeth. Mark Keister on YouTube said, Ben, I've enjoyed your content since I first saw you on YouTube, on TYT. I believe you'd enjoy interviewing Adam Christensen, a progressive vying for Florida's 3rd district. Reach him at office at the mayor. Okay, grab that address for me, David or Jake, if you don't mind. Jonathan Tipton Meyer says, class reductionism is gaslighting too, denying the original sin that our economic wealth is based on segregation by color is why we're here now. Absolutely. Ezekiel said, love you, Ben. AOC and Ilhan are on Twitch, which means they're gone. Thank you for that. Oh, yeah. Sweet Soul Brother say, hey, Ben, can you make a segment that dismantles harmful talking points used by black grifters on the right, such as Thomas Sowell and the like? Absolutely can. We'll love to. All right. Who do we raid? Who are we raiding tonight, folks? Tell somebody good night. Be kind to someone. It's 10:56. I need to be in the bed. Oh, you guys are raiding Ilhan. Okay. Go over there. Tell her that I know they're not going to see us with all their, 400,000 people watching, but that's okay. Tell them we sent you, and we'll give you a few more. Hey, Nick. Nick, what? Good to see you. What's up with 50 cents? Money. People are just greedy. See you later, Black Sky. Raid Ilhan. Do it. Let's raid Ilhan. Let's go. Good night, everyone. Be kind. When you can be kind, be kind. When you can't, take no prisoners, etc., etc., etc. Deuce the Deuce said, oh, Clayton Bigsby. Alicia says, love to all. Oh, yes, there it is. WeMovin.life. WeMovin.life if you want to run with us or move your body in the mornings. Thank you, Tammy. Blessings to you and all. Peace and love to everyone from Ralph. Good night, Corrine. That's my classmate. I'm honored to have my friends from high school in the chat. Corrine, Bebo, Bakita, Leroy Jenkins. I saw that one. Good night, Nikki. Hey, good night, Larry. Good to see you. Oh, I forgot to put that on the screen, didn't I? Whoever's still here, you'll see it. I know we lost a lot of people. I'm telling everybody good night. My producer's going to be cussed me out because he made this graphic for me and I didn't put it up. Let me get this on the screen. Where is it? And I had it ready. Where the hell is that? Oh, there it is. Come on the screen. Hello, come on. There it is. Patron party Friday night, 9 p.m. It's a Zoom party. We have a DJ and it's popping. If you are a subscriber on Twitch or if you are a patron, you get in and we really just have fun, man. We have music and we dance the night away. Bring your own drink. A Zoom party Friday night, 9 p.m. We're going to be over there partying for people who are supporting the show financially. It's just my way of saying thank you. And we get to talk like you're in the Zoom call with us and we talk and we party and you see me act a fool because that's how I really am. I'm just a clown. I will, we'll have a party for sure. And then we talk and then I do the stream afterwards. I do like a 10-minute stream afterwards, but we party for about 3 hours. So if you're interested in participating in that, you can go to patreon.com/the BPD show or subscribe on Twitch. You can see it down there at the bottom in the middle, patreon.com/the BPD show. If not, no stress. Don't worry about it. We hang out all the time anyway. I'm just waiting around to make sure that the Tammy's going to be there. Good. Just make sure that we did the live, that we did the raid. And once I know that we did the raid, I'm going to end the stream. Thank you, Valerie. You sleep well as well. Love and peace. Oh, the raid went. Okay. Thank you, Larry. I will accept that notification. And with that, I bid you good night.